The SEC looks like they're human after all. Nobody thought that the SEC was going to lose a case, but it turns out they're not Superman. They're not bulletproof. What does this mean for crypto? So, just to give you a quick backstory, XRP, Ripple, they've been battling with the SEC for years, and they were delisted on all of the major exchanges. Coinbase, Kraken, everybody got rid of XRP because of the SEC lawsuit. They claimed that their token, XRP, was an unregistered security and that they were violating Security and Exchange Commission guidelines. Throughout litigation, court cases, lawyers, all this stuff that has been happening for years, it turned out that XRP, Ripple, they won the lawsuit against the SEC. And this is so interesting that this has happened because last year was a terrible year for crypto. You know, you had black swan events that had just destroyed the space. Again, it's not Bitcoin's fault, it's not blockchain's fault, but a lot of crazy things happened. We thought World War III was upon us with the Ukraine and Russia conflict, which is still going on. You had the meltdown of Terra Luna. You had BlockFi that went out of business. You had Celsius. You had Voyager, all due to lending out lending out cash and collateralizing it with crypto, and then not being able to pay back the loans. And so bank runs happened. People tried to deposit or they tried to withdraw funds from an account that didn't have enough deposits to satisfy that. And then, of course, the FTX meltdown, which really caused that was the straw that broke the camel's back. That was the final blow. And that's when you saw Bitcoin drop to the 15 to 16,000 range. It's been steadily increasing over the last few months. Obviously, what happened with Silvergate, with Silicon Valley Bank, as well as Signature, all this negative stuff just made blockchain and Bitcoin more valuable. So, what's going on now? XRP winning this case, or Ripple, I should say, winning this case against the SEC. This is not too long after the SEC bullied Kraken and fined them $30 million, made them take staking off their platform because they were saying that they were unregistered securities. So instead of Kraken fighting the SEC, they paid a $30 million fine and they didn't allow staking on their platform anymore. Coinbase also was given the same opportunity, but they said, hell no, we're not going to delist any tokens and we're not going to stop staking because they aren't unregistered securities. And then, of course, the SEC bullying Binance. And Binance to me has always been a little questionable, if I could say so. But all the SEC bullying that's been happening, it just made me realize, and maybe you too, that they can't get away with all the crap that they've been getting away with. Now, couple this win, even though the SEC is appealing it and they're going to try to save face and all this stuff, but with this win with Ripple and XRP, one, they're able to be purchased now on Kraken and Coinbase Pro. You may or may not want to do this. Look more into XRP. Maybe we'll cover this later. But two, in the last week, we've gotten news that a Bitcoin spot ETF could potentially become approved in the near future. What does that mean? In 2021, a futures ETF was approved by the SEC, but that's not really being able to buy Bitcoin on a New York Stock Exchange. That's buying a stock symbol that buys futures contracts. Not really the same thing. But what would a spot ETF do to the crypto space? First of all, sovereign wealth would have the ability to legally purchase an ETF on the New York Stock Exchange. Also, retail, not just retail investors, but institutional investors would be able to buy a stock that's a spot BTC ETF. And that means that this stock would be able to own actual Bitcoin and they could participate in the gains that Bitcoin would have. Now, BlackRock is the key component here. So they're very influential. They basically rule the world. If any of you have looked into BlackRock and what they do, it's crazy. But 4 years ago, Larry Fink, the CEO of BlackRock, he was saying how crypto's garbage, how it's never going anywhere. They're not looking to it at all. And if you look at what he said to the public over the last 4 years, it has gotten a little better, little better, little better. And now all of a sudden, according to Larry Fink, Bitcoin is digital gold, and it's so worth looking into. He thinks it could change and revolutionize the financial sector worldwide. And this is after the Bitcoin ETF application was accepted by the SEC. They did everything that the SEC asked. It hasn't been approved yet, but it's been accepted. And the next stage would be final approval. Now, if this ETF is approved, you could see $30 trillion of institutional wealth flood the market, which could potentially give the crypto industry a 10, 20, or 30x return, then surpassing potentially the value of gold. Will it happen during this next bull run? I don't know, but it's kind of coincidental that the SEC ruling, the potential ETF, all these positive things are suddenly happening with crypto prior to the halving coming up next year in April. So to me, it looks like BlackRock knows where the future is going, and they're trying to position themselves that way. $100 million investment or $100 billion investment could all of a sudden be worth 10 to 30 times more than that after the Bitcoin market reaches its peak in the next halving cycle. So what do you think is going to happen? I know what I think is going to happen. Leave a comment below. Let us know your thoughts and what video you'd like to see next.